Hello everyone, today we're going to be going over the announcement of Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. They did put an official post other than videos, which kind of explains everything in more detail. We'll go over the article together and then I'll give my thoughts on how I think it's going to work, because it leaves a lot of things open to interpretation. So without further ado, let's begin. So over here, it's a bunch of fluff saying like, thank you for continuing to support PSO2 and, we're going to be releasing New Genesis or NGS in 2021. So we're going to scroll down here, blah, 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 blah. So it's going to be one of the biggest updates ever. And right here, it says the twin universes of PSO2 New Genesis and PSO2 will exist side by side. Both will be playable. So they say you can continue to enjoy the original PSO2 even after PSO2 New Genesis has been released. Accounts that have been playing PSO2 will be able to hop over to PSO2 New Genesis and PSO2. However, because the game system is vastly different, we would like to explain what exactly is changing in PSO2 New Genesis below. So the first point they state is that we will be getting a graphics rehaul. So it says right here, this is the important part. Finally, PSO2 core graphics engine will also be overhauled, allowing you to use characters created with PSO2 New Genesis system within PSO2 as well. Naturally, all character creation info from PSO2, including items linked to emotes and other previous registered data, will be compatible with PSO2 New Genesis. So this sounds really cool, right? It says that, all linked item emotes as well as previously registered data, but they don't specify what the data is. Sure, they do specify a little bit down here saying what is not compatible and what is compatible, but not many things actually carry over. So we know here that all of our emotes will carry over. So if you have pole dance or chair dance, those are expensive emotes, those will carry over to New Genesis. So that's very good, right? They don't specify anywhere whether our costumes will be carried over, so that will be something that a lot of people are concerned about, because fashion is the true end game for most of us, myself included. So I'd like to see my costumes ported over to New Genesis, but there's no information about that. So over here they do explain what cannot and what can be ported over. So we'll see over here that items obtained in PSO2 cannot be used in PSO2 New Genesis. So down here is a bunch of items which cannot be used in PSO2 New Genesis. So our skill rings, our consumable items for battle growth and enhancement, boost items, materials, and furnishings. So these items that we have currently in PSO2 will not carry over to New Genesis. And down here, regarding player data and character growth. So player data, AC and SG can be used in both PSO2 New Genesis and PSO2. However, Meseta, fun points, and other currencies will not be shared between New Genesis and PSO2. Another thing is character growth. So character growth will not be shared between New Genesis and PSO2. So examples of character growth will be your level, your experience, your class skills, your photon arts, your techniques. So basically all the levels that you have right now will not carry over. So basically a lot of things don't carry over. So I think this is why a lot of people are very upset, because it feels like, hey, we're playing PSO2 now, right? Because we're enjoying the game, but we feel like we're getting shafted, sort of, because we farm for all these levels, we farm for all these gear, we farm for all this Meseta, as well as fun points and so forth and so on. But when New Genesis comes out, it seems like we're losing it all when we transfer over. However, that's not entirely true, because the things that we do get to keep are going to be the weapons, the units, and your mags. However, there is a little caveat over here. So it says right here for weapons, some higher rarity weapons may not be equipable until your character reaches a certain level. For weapons pertaining to classes that have not yet been added to PSO2 New Genesis, they will be unusable until the relevant class has been released. So let's say we are playing like the Phantom class or the Hero class, because that's the newest class that just came out and you spent a lot of time investing into that character, gearing it up, so forth and so on. And New Genesis comes out. So we all hop over to New Genesis because it's a new hot thing, we all want to try it, and we find out that, oh, only the vanilla classes are out. We don't have Phantom, we don't have Hero, we don't have all the new classes. Then those weapons that you farmed for, those high 15-star weapons, you will not be able to equip them until New Genesis gets the Hero class or gets whatever class that can equip those weapons. So that kind of sucks, but it is what it is so far. And just keep in mind that there is a lot of things subject to change because the game comes out in 2021 and there's plenty of time. It's probably going to release like Q3, Q4 of 2021. That's what I personally think, because they want the NA server to catch up to the JP server before releasing New Genesis. Now let's talk about units. So in PSO2 New Genesis, units will become armor that is not visible. Even units obtained in PSO2 will become invisible in PSO2 New Genesis. Furthermore, similarly to weapons, their stats, augments, potentials will change, and higher rarity units may not be equipped until your character reaches a certain level. So units is not that bad, because units, you can equip it on any class. It doesn't matter. It's not as bad as the weapons. Some weapons are class specific, and if that class is not available, you're kind of screwed. But with units, it's not that bad. However, do keep in mind, it says right here that their stats, augments, and potentials will change. So let's say that you have Nemesis gear, or let's say that you have Ray gear, and the current set bonuses they have, and the stats they give, and those are augments, they will change. They don't say that it might change, they say that it will change. So what I would be concerned about would be, let's say you have the highest tier unit and you've worked your butt off and spent millions of Meseta to have its 6 affixes, as well as like all the perfect affixes that you want. And then when you come over to New Genesis, and they say here that your augments or affixes will change. So I would be a little bit concerned on like what happens to our affixes. Like, we finally worked really hard to get our weapon, to get our armor, all 6 slot, all perfect augments / affixes, and then they change it. So this would be a little bit interesting, but I don't see it as the end of the world. So why do I say this? The reason I'm saying this is because I personally see New Genesis like an expansion. So think of Monster Hunter World. If anyone's played Monster Hunter World, when Iceborne came out and we bought Iceborne and we ported over, all of our gear would carry over as well. But after defeating maybe like the first or second boss, you notice that gear that drops in Iceborne was so much better than our endgame gear in Monster Hunter World. And I feel like it's going to be the same thing here. It's like, we're going to have some really endgame gear in PSO2, right? But the moment that we start blasting through maybe chapter 1 or chapter 2 in New Genesis, we're going to be getting so much better gear that it's going to make a lot of the gear that we have in PSO2 irrelevant. That's my personal opinion. That's what I think. That's why I'm not too bothered about all these changes over here. The only thing that I would be a little bit concerned about is what classes will be available on release. I'm assuming that the vanilla classes are going to be available. So all the classes that we got on NA release, I think those are going to be available. But everything else after, so all the classes that we're going to be getting in the next couple months, I feel like those might not be available on release date of New Genesis. So it won't affect me as much since I am a Braver main, so my main weapon is a katana. So even when Phantom comes out and I invest a ton of resources into gearing up the Phantom, it won't matter too much because I'm hoping that the Braver will come out on release, so I'll still be able to use my katana. I just need to level up my character. So finally down here is the mags will also carry over. So although mags within PSO2 New Genesis do not affect your stats or aid you in battle, evolution device data from PSO2 will carry over. Be sure to keep an eye out for PSO2 New Genesis news for further information on how data will transfer between the two games. So I'm glad that they're keeping the mag information that, you know, this is going to carry over, mainly because mags are basically like our little chibi pets. You know, it's more of a fashion statement, and it doesn't really do much for us. I'm very happy that it says here that it does not affect stats or aid you in battle. I was honestly a little bit scared when I saw the trailer and I saw the mag flying around, because I thought that the mag might do something like in Black Desert, where it was helping you pick up the trash loot. But I'm glad that it says right here that it does not aid you in battle or affect my stats. And finally down here, we've got PSO2 New Genesis release information. It's planned to be released on Windows 10 and Xbox One. So it says right here, note, if PSO2 is added to new platforms, we plan to make PSO2 New Genesis available on those platforms as well. So this is very good to hear, which basically means, hey, if PSO2 comes out on Steam, PSO2 New Genesis will also be available on Steam. And that's really the main thing that I'm looking at. But to be perfectly honest, I'm using the PSO2 tweaker and I'm very happy with the tweaker, so I'm just going to continue using the tweaker. And finally, we have price. So the game will be fully free to play. There will be some premium items available as usual. However, as long as PSO2 sticks with its current business model, which seems to work very well, to be honest, I don't see that big of an issue. I'm very, very happy with how PSO2 is. And last but not least, we have a New Genesis announcement campaign. To celebrate the announcement of PSO2 New Genesis, a PSO2 New Genesis announcement campaign will be held in PSO2. This campaign features some truly tantalizing items, so we invite all ARX operatives who have taken a vacation from PSO2 to come back and have some fun while waiting for the release of New Genesis. All you need to do is log in at least one time between July 24th and September 18th, and you get a lot of goodies. You get an emote, you get 5 try boosters, you get X try boosters, as well as 100 star gems. And if you log in every single day, you get an additional 500,000 EXP. So super good. Basically, you get 5 million EXP total, as well as a bunch of goodies. So yeah, just log in every single day, guys, and you get all this good stuff. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up my thoughts on New Genesis. I'm still super stoked on it. I'm not upset at all. Like, I do understand why people are upset about it, but I personally am not too bothered by it. Mainly because they're not discontinuing PSO2. You can still play PSO2 vanilla, and you could play New Genesis. Just think of New Genesis like a new region or a new server or an expansion. And that's how I treat it. I treat it as an expansion where you're going to a new world or a new universe. So your money, your levels, and stuff like that just don't carry over. But to me, I don't think it matters too much, because the most expensive stuff that you will have on your character is going to be your weapons, your units, your emotes, and maybe your fashion. So out of these 4 things, we know for a fact that 3 things are carrying over already. So the emotes, the weapons, the units are carrying over. Oh, and our mags. So mag skins as well, those will carry over. The only thing I don't know yet is fashion, like our cosmetics. I really do hope our cosmetics carry over as well. But other than that, the rest of the stuff, I don't mind too much, because we're going to be getting much better gear in New Genesis the moment we start playing. It's very similar to having a new chapter released in PSO2. Like when chapter 4 comes out, we get another tier of weapons, another tier of armor. So that makes your current armor obsolete. But we don't really get too upset about that. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. If you like this video, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.
What can I say except you're welcome, for the heals, the boosts, the rest.